Everybody in the world who invents things, try to invent the telephone and we'll buy it from you. So this inventor, Alexander Graham Bell, is like, oh, invent the telephone? Yes, please.
Hello. Today we're going to talk about the invention of Coca-Cola, America's favorite soft drink. So like in the 1800s, John Pemberton was trying to make patent medicines. Basically, they were fake medicines, and most of them were just like herbal, who's-y what's, who even cares. He was just trying to make anything that would sell. He was like, I want to make a fake medicine that made women think that they'll never be nervous or have farts, and make men think that they can be smarter. So he decided to use a new ingredient, coca. Coca is from a plant. The South Americans would chew it and be like, we had so much energy and we weren't even hungry and we hiked the whole Andes. But really, they were just on cocaine. John Pemberton was like, oh, I should put this into my new potion that I'm making. And basically, he copied someone else's recipe called like Vin Mariani. He was like, well, I have wine. I put coca in there, a little of this cola in. The cola nut released a little bit of caffeine. And he basically was like, what I give you is a wine with cocaine, caffeine. Then people in Atlanta were like, no, nobody can sell alcohol because of temperance. He was like, okay, well, fine, I'll just make a temperance beverage. He went back into his laboratory and he decided to just put the coca and the cola together, but they were super bitter without the wine. So he added a ton of sugar and then he made it into like a drink. You know, he thought, oh, well, people will love this. It wasn't like he was like, I made a soda, because nobody even had that yet. He had a friend named Frank Robinson who was like, okay, well, I'll help you to sell your medicine soda drink thingy. First of all, you should change the K in the cola to a C and just call it what it is, Coca-Cola, and the two C's will look really nice next to each other. And who wouldn't love that? So they would just advertise Coca-Cola as a medicine for your brain. They would say it's invigorating and stimulating and healthy for your nervous system using the exotic extract of the coca and cola nut to make you super alive and ready to face your day. The first year, he only sold 25 gallons.
25,000 or 25?
25 gallons.
Okay.
In a year. He gave it to pharmacies. They had like soda fountains and fun things, and people did like it a lot. Oh, this is a great drink. They thought that it made them like invigorated and aware. People are basically drinking little cocaine soda. Me. I need more. I wish I was alive then to drink the Coca-Cola. God, I miss so much from not being in the olden times. The next year, he sold 200 gallons a month? That's so much more. 12 months. Reggie, stop it. 12. Reggie, god damn it. Hold on. Okay, I got him. 12 months out of the year. We sold 2,000 gallons a month. No, yes? God damn it. He's on his deathbed dying of stomach cancer. And he's like, Out of all of the patent medicines that I've tried to make, I've finally made a successful patent medicine. But what he never knew was that he actually made the most successful drink that humans will ever drink, ever. God, he was so successful and he doesn't know, and he'll never know, ever. They still use coca leaves in modern day Coca-Cola. So do the math on that one. Even if they don't have cocaine in them, they still use the leaves, and they took the cocaine out and putting it somewhere else.
Welcome to Drunk History. I'm JD Ariznar. Today we're going to tell a story about the invention of the telephone. Our story starts in the 1870s with a telegraph corporation, Western Union. And Western Union was starting to go like, all right, the telegraph is fine, but like, what's next? So they're like, we're looking for somebody to invent a way to like talk your voice over a wire to some other dude. It's a wonderful thing where you call people's homes and this is telephone. Now, there's a dude whose name is Elisha, pronounced Elisha. Elisha Gray sold telegraph parts. It's like, I invent little telegraph things. I'm a cute little inventor. I'm Elisha Gray. So Western Union is like Elisha Gray invented the telephone. Elisha Gray is like, great. But then Western Union goes to the public and is like, hey, everybody in the world who invents things, try to invent the telephone and we'll buy it from you. So this inventor, Alexander Graham Bell, is like, oh, invent the telephone? Yes, please. We're doing good. We're really drunk. So Alexander Graham Bell gets to work trying to invent the telephone. He's having a hard time. He can't figure it out. Like, burp, burp, it's kind of me talking, but I sound like a robot. Alexander Graham Bell's lawyers are like, this is a shitty telephone. You're not doing a good job, Alexander Graham Bell. And so his lawyer goes to the patent clerk at the U.S. Patent Office, Zenas Fisk Wilbur. It's a weird old name. Zenas rhymes with penis. That's how I remember it. Zenas. Zenas. The guy had all sorts of problems. Was a drunkard, like, I'm poor and I'm drunk and I'm depressed. F it. Graham Bell's lawyer said, listen, you owe us money. If anybody submits a telephone patent, let me know. Meanwhile, Elisha Gray is like having the same problems that Alexander Graham Bell was having. He was like, brr, 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 I'm talking on the phone. How can I make this electric current be smoother on the other end? What if I put a little water in the doodad? The water vibrates at more subtler tones, and that goes through the wire, and it's clear as silk. Bonanza! So he goes to the patent office and he files a patent. I know how to make the telephone, but this is how I'm gonna do it. So sure enough, Zenas Fisk Wilbur at the patent office calls Alexander Graham Bell's lawyers. Not on the telephone, because it's not invented yet, but on a telegraph or something. He's like, hey, beep, 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 beep. Somebody just submitted the patent for the telephone. Beep, 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 beep. Alexander Graham Bell goes to the patent office and goes, what's up, Zenas Fisk Wilbur? Okay. Jeez. Sorry about that.
And then he swallowed it.
Of course I swallowed it. What am I gonna do, spit it on the floor? Maybe you can give me a little something about what's going on with this other guy who filed a patent, huh? It's like, all right, well, here it is. Here's the drawing of how he's gonna invent the telephone. Alexander Graham Bell copies down Gray's design and turns it in. Meanwhile, Elisha Gray, all of a sudden he hears, hey, everybody in America, Alexander Graham Bell just invented the telephone. He's like, what? I filed a patent for the telephone. How could he do that? I made this telephone. This was my thing. There's a dispute now. Everybody's like, hey, who did it first? Who was first? And guess who the patent office put in charge of the investigation? Zenas Fisk Wilbur himself. And so Alexander Graham Bell's lawyers were like, listen, let's frickin' just let Alexander Graham Bell's patent come first. Like, what's up? So he's like, guess what? Alexander Graham Bell, you invented the telephone. You win. Woohoo! Alexander Graham Bell goes off and builds the first telephone off of Gray's plans. Meanwhile, Elisha Gray is busy fighting it in court. I invented the telephone. It was me. This is garbage. He copied me. And even though he got Zenas Wilbur to testify in court, like, listen, I took a bunch of money from Bell's lawyer so he can invent the telephone. And that's the truth. Still, Alexander Graham Bell is so well known at this point that Supreme Court's like, Alexander Graham Bell wins, and he's the inventor of the telephone forever. Well, good work. And then Elisha Gray is like, oh God, I guess I didn't invent telephones. I did, but like I lose. Anyway, what's his name? I don't even remember his name. Oh, what's his name? What's the other guy's name? Wilbur. No. Walt Disney? No. Telephone. Meanwhile, Alexander Graham Bell went on to make 1800s equivalent of billions off the telephone. And then it was like, I made the Bell Company. I don't care. I don't even like telephones. I don't even want one in my office. That's what a shitty snob Alexander Graham Bell was. Meanwhile, who uses the Alexander Graham Bell telephone anymore? Nobody except old people and poor people.
Hello, my name is Paget Brewster and I'm talking to you.
And today.
Oh my God. You guys ready? Are you all done? Shut your mouths. You ready? I'll fucking do it, but shush it. Hello. Hello. My name is Paget Brewster, and today we're talking about Mary Phelps Jacob, the inventor of the bra. In 1910, women were cinched in to tiny corsets all the time. But then there is a 19-year-old girl, Mary Phelps Jacob, setting up to go to a debutante ball, and she is like, I got this beautiful silk dress, and I have to put this dumb piece of shit on, stupid corset with whalebone inserts, so goddamn dumb. All right, I'm out, I can't take this. Marie, her maid, Marie, get me 2 handkerchiefs, some silk cording, ribbons, and the sewing kit. She sews together 2 handkerchiefs onto herself and goes to a ball. All the girls are like, what is going on with you, girl? You look better than you have ever looked. And she says, yeah, I just made this out of some handkerchiefs. The girls go crazy. And she's like, my boobles are free to roam. And they all say, I want one, I want one, I want one. All right, whatever, I'll make you my new thing, whatever, with some handkerchiefs. Then she gets a letter in the mail from someone she's never met saying, hey, I'll give you $1 to make me a bra. And then she realizes, oh, this could be a business. So she goes to the patent office and she said, hey, I've made this thing. It's a brassiere. The patent office guy was like, everyone's had boobs for goddamn forever. I understand that you think you made something, but you fucking didn't. And she said, no, I did. The last piece of patent flattens your tits into nothing but 1 boob. Do you want 1 boob? And he's like, I don't even know if I can answer this. No, you want 2 fucking boobs. They separate and lift. Give me the patent for the backless brassiere. And he says, yeah, okay, all right. I've never seen that. I will give you a patent. Slam. He gives her a patent. Oh God. I'm not gonna throw up, but I'm pretty gonzo bonzo. So she opens the Fashion Form Brassiere Company. Meanwhile, she marries this guy, Harry Crosby, and Harry says, hey, babe, because you're gonna be my wife, Crosby, I feel like you should have a C name. So it's like C. Crosby. I would really like it if you change your name to Clitoris. It's fucking true. And she says, what? No, I'm not gonna change my name to Clitoris. And he's like, no, it's with a Y. Still, I'm sorry. I love you, man, honey, but not even with a Y will I name myself Clitoris. What about Caress? That's better than Clitoris, certainly. He says to her, hey, Caress. She's now Caress. You're kind of bored with the bra business, and it's not taking off. I'm kind of rich. Why don't you just let it go? She says, all right, fine. She sells her patent to the Warner Brothers Corset Company for $1,500. She's like, I'm out. I'm good. Had fun. So, wait, I have to fast forward. I also have to pee.
Which one you gonna do first?
No, I have to pee.
Okay, well then pee.
I'm gonna. In 1929, the bra took hold. Everyone bought bras. The corset was dead. The Warner Brothers Corset Company makes $15 million off of her patent alone.
It's a lot of titties.
Here's the thing about Mary Phelps Jacob. She never gave a shit. She was like, oh, okay. I sold the patent. Not gonna dwell on it. I'm gonna open a publishing company that publishes every modern writer known to man. Hemingway, James Joyce, Henry Miller, Edgar Allan Poe. There's so many more. Someone look it up on an iPhone. You'll see. Then was writing pornography for money. And she was great at it. And at the end of her life, someone asked her about like, hey, you invented something. And she said, yeah, my invention, it wouldn't take the place in history of something like the steamboat. But yeah, I invented the bra. The bra is kind of a big f***ing deal. No one gives a shit about a steamboat. Do you know anyone who doesn't have a bra? I do love bras.
I can see.
More
you
than
have lots
steamboats.
Sorry, bros. I'm allergic.
You're allergic?
I'm allergic to bras. I didn't want to tell you.
My name is Duncan Trussell, and today we're going to talk about Edison. This story starts in New Jersey with Thomas Edison, one of the great inventors of the time, known as the Wizard of Menlo Park. He would get poor geniuses, gather them together, and he's like, just make stuff for me. If it's good, I'm gonna say it's mine. Whatever, you're gonna make money. So just do it. An inventor by the name of Muybridge came to New Jersey, shows this incredible device. He'd managed to take a bunch of pictures of a horse running and spin them on a cylinder in a way that gave it animation. And Edison's like, you know, great, a horse running. Cool invention or whatever, bye. And then he's like, we gotta fucking figure this shit out because people are gonna wanna watch this stuff. We gotta start working on this shit right fucking now. And then in 1893, Edison is like, I figured out how to do it, guys. I can photograph and make a movie. We can make movies now. I came up with the very first camera, the kinetograph. And I figured out a way to look at the strings of moving pictures, a kinetoscope. And it's all my idea. My idea. Yes, people, I'm too drunk. Why would I take another drink? So Edison needed content for these kinetoscopes, and everything he was putting out was shit. He's like, let's get fucking cats boxing, man, and then vaudeville scenes of people chasing each other. Let's film a blacksmith shop. Everyone's gonna wanna see that. Right, guys? Right? Right. And they filmed it. People were into it, man. Freaking out. Everyone's like, have you been to the kinetoscope parlor? Oh, you've gotta go, it's incredible. So people came to Edison. They're like, hey, look what we can do. We can project images on a screen. He's like, wow, that's amazing. I can't believe I invented that. That's incredible. I am so fucking smart. Let's patent this shit. Movies take off. People love it. They went to these places called Nickelodeons. For a nickel, you're in a Greek theater. Come on in. People would sit in those theaters and be like, this is awesome. So then Edison creates an industry town, and everyone comes to Fort Lee to start making movies, and Edison squeezes all of them. He was like, join me in what we're gonna call the Edison Trust. And all of you assholes can join together with me, and we're gonna make it so that no other motherfuckers make movies except us. Got it. Write it down in your notebook. And everyone's like, great, let's do it. I don't want you to sue me, so I'll just agree to whatever you say because you're super rich and I just want to make art. So, great. Sounds good. They created a monopoly on all filmmaking. There was a fella by the name of Carl Laemmle. Went to one of Edison's shitty shows and was like, that is so bad. People are paying a nickel to watch this shit. Why don't we try to make our own movies? And so Carl Laemmle starts making movies. He creates his own theater, and Edison is like, no, I'm sorry, what are you doing? You're not allowed to make movies, and you're definitely not allowed to show movies on my fucking equipment without paying me a fucking licensing fee. How dare you? He sues Laemmle 284 times. Laemmle's #1 dream, I just want to one day make enough money to take my family on a vacation in Europe. And Edison is like, I'm gonna squash you like a f***ing bug. I'm the Wizard of Menlo Park. Take your f***ing family on a vacation up my ass. Oh God, he was just eating a turd in the yard. Edison was a bastard. Imagine 284 lawsuits, man. But Laemmle was like, you. I'm gonna keep making these movies. And Edison, faced with true opposition, started sending thugs to Laemmle's movie theaters. People are just sitting and enjoying movies, and all of a sudden, Edison thugs would come crashing through the door and be like, F off, no one's watching this shit. This is not an Edison film. They would go to the productions, beat up the f***ing actors. But Laemmle didn't back down. There's 3 guys who kept making movies. Laemmle, Fox, and Zucker. And finally they realized, what the f are we doing in New Jersey? We're shooting films in New Jersey and on a daily basis getting sued and beaten up. Let's get the f out of New Jersey. How about we go to f***ing Los Angeles, where it's sunny all the time and you don't get your ass kicked by a dick. That makes great sense. It's a great idea. They headed to LA, and those 3 heroes created Universal Studios, Fox, and Paramount. The United States government recognized that the Edison Trust was a monopoly, and they broke it up. Sorry, Edison, you can't have control over all film being made in the world. If we let you have your way, then people would be looking at cats boxing until the planet blew up. You're trying to ruin your species, and you don't even realize it, you greedy reptilian shitbag. Still, people are gonna think you're great, though. No one's gonna know, so congratulations, demon. I'm not saying inventors don't deserve to be rewarded for their inventions, but instead of suing people, you work with them. And then the end result of that is the entire planet wakes up. We experience what's called the singularity. Everybody gets dissolved by nanobots, and we travel through the universe as infinite beings of love.